Hello, good evening. Hello. Uh, yeah, I've not even got everything set up yet, so just give me one moment if you would, please. I am actually here. It's just I haven't gone. Yeah, because I use my phone and the way I use it is a pain in the backside if I don't set it up right, then it's weird. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Just phone, behave yourself. I'm sorry. I know you can see everything else. It's a pain. It's usually good when you can actually. No, I don't want. What are you doing? This is when phones are stupid. Why are you giving me autofill? No, I don't want. What? Okay. Yeah, this is going well. Let's just say that. For some reason, it's not doing what I want it to do. So, thank you. And go back to that. And technical issues is not funny. Right. Now, hopefully, it'll behave yourself from here onwards. And I'm not just talking because I can't actually see what's going on. Good evening, anyone who's joined, by the way. I should actually just sort my stuff out. Shouldn't I? Am I in the right thing? Yes, I am. Where do we put that other thing? I was supposed to have the. There it is. That one. And now I can sort my light one out. Oh well, my face can anyway. And now clicking comments. Good evening, Francois. Although that was 6 hours ago, that was really early. All right, let's start this properly. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. We went to York over the weekend in these Bibles. And as I've shown you, if you've been watching, I got a bear, and I was saying that the bear was going to be essentially my representation of what would be this thing, but with two big claw hands instead of a claw hand and a grub. Okay, and he's been upscaled from this. See, nice little size difference. So yeah, that's what I went to York for. Is for a nice version of this instead of this, which is what my head thought about what I was asking from um, Rogue Den Hobbies, as is gonna be displayed at the bottom because that's where I've got the model that I completely misscaled from. So I like this. This is a Games Workshop model. I like this very much. This is a nice big dreadnought, much bigger than this one. Represents the dreadnought better. I like it. So original one going down there. So I wanted one of these, but essentially that on that side as well, but a nice bear version. So I got in touch with Rogue Den Hobbies, and they quite nicely agreed to scale me up their bear a bit bigger, as per my request, and they did. They did, and while it was at York, I picked it up, and This said bear is absolutely wonderful. It's got two arms, which I've already started to prime, by the way, because I overexcited. I couldn't help myself. Please go check them out. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen if you wish to. Not this bear, because as I said, I got them. Good evening, Twisted. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We did. It did rain a lot, which is why I'm glad when I got this, it was wrapped in nice waterproof materials. It was good. It was good. So this stayed nice and dry, as did the other thing, which I will talk about in a moment, which is why the stream is named what it is. So we will get onto that because there's a lot more to talk about on that. But yeah, this is the big cloud version of that thing. But when I scaled it up, I didn't realize quite the scaling, and I misrepresented it. So live on stream, I'm actually going to get something that can easily measure the size of these, which is a basic metal bloody ruler, which I did have to hand, but I dropped. Obviously, use metal does have that sound. Yeah, yeah, he is a big boy, isn't it? So yeah, that one, yeah, that one, him. He can literally lean on a Redemptor Dreadnought. It's ridiculous. I thought this 95mm base was going to be nice for him, but no matter how I stand him on it, some part of his toes always just hang over the edge. They're just not big enough. So I've resorted to filling out a lid that he can actually fit on with. Well, both feet for a base. This big boy is at least standing at about just shy of 5.5 inches, I think. I would say just to his head. But that being said, he does also have a backpack, which the Marine would be in. If you go check it out and you look at the actual model, there is actually because it is a sarcophagus there would be something in there. In this case, there is something there. As I misrepresented the scale, I compared it to something that was comparable size and realized, therein lies a problem because it's a bit too big. Because obviously I screwed it up. I'm useless at scaling. And you can just ask me. And just ask. Yeah. Well, if Graham comes up, we'll just talk about how great I am at scaling. Because he helped. Well, he didn't help me. I did a rough idea, and he said, right, okay. And I just couldn't measure. So that would also be on his back, which is a nice big chunky, and in there would be the face of the thing controlling said bear, which has wires coming off and big guns off the shoulders and guns on the arms, as well as a big, huge, whopping double-barreled gun going up there. Pardon my French, sorry, that way. So by the end of it, it does actually stand a little bit taller. So he ends up standing about at least about this much taller. So on top of that, I'm saying he's at least reaching a 6-inch tall model, at least a 6-inch tall model. And because he's a 6-inch tall model, I'm also going to have to make a fucking good base for him. So that may even push him to 6.5. 6.5. I probably not, Ali, in fairness. I probably could not descale a fish. No. So now because of my mishap, what was going to be a nice little, hopefully a nice simple project that I could do easy justice to, I'm going to have to do a lot more work into. However, that being said, because the same person also printed the model that I will be going more on about in this stream, even though my scaling was out and they printed it just as I asked, the detailing still works. And even though he is a big boy, the fur is quite nice. If I can dry brush it properly, that should be quite good. It should look like quite thick, matted. Mm, that might actually make it easier to do the effect out. Right, that might make the yeah. Okay, because of the black of the armor, and it's a lot of yeah. I want him. Sorry, I want him equipped with melter guns. Good evening, Francois. Um, yes, I want him equipped with melter guns. So if it requires me to possibly put a few more slight dints in a weapon or changing some slight modifications with some parts from the bits box, then so be it. Um, and he's going to be mounted with probably going to be easiest to do the shoulder mounted weapons. Yeah, right. What I intend to do, I'm going to leave for when I start doing it. But what I intend to do, at least for the fur, which I'll probably have to do first, and then looking at the armor, and I'm going to have to fill that in with something a little better than what I have done. I've just filled it in for the purposes of seeing what it'd be like filled in. Um, I'm tempted to leave it in there because it's quite snugly fit, and possibly see how it's molds in with just a tiny little bit of like, yeah. I don't. I'll see what I do with that bit because getting it flush would be a nightmare, and I can't shrink down what's already in there, and it'll look weird. So I'll see. I'll see, but that is still removable at the minute. Everything else though is part primed, and then I had to go do little last things like bring him home from school, and I tried to hold out, but it's currently in a little box. So I've not done both sides yet, but I shall. But he's quite a, shall we say, chunky boy. There you go. So he's got claws on. So he will proxy quite nicely for a brutalis dreadnought, but he is a fair bit bigger than what a brutalis dreadnought actually is. So I'm not quite sure how to do a base befitting of this one yet. So I might have to paint it first, and because the base has got dual sides at the moment, which is plastic one side and essentially the insulation foam, which I can replace with foam core if I want to get rid of those lines and be a complete arsey think about it. I want to do something that's I could just do it that way, but do the base second, but do him first, which case requires a lot more of this. As I said, he has two whopping great big guns which sit on top of. No, God bless bubble wrap. God bless bubble wrap, and a big pile of paper playmats. Yes, there we go. So that would sit on his bastard. Sorry, pardon my French. And the gun would sit about there-ish. So he does stand at quite a whopper once he's all put together, good and proper. And hey, didn't know. Neither did I. Don't worry, you don't get him anymore. Yeah. So he does stand at quite a big boy at probably a good 4 to 5 inches deep and wide as well. Basically, he's almost square in total. It's it's fucking huge thing. It is huge. So that is something for in the future. However, while I was picking that up there, one of you lovely people, and I would love for you to reach out and message me if you could, so I can thank you properly. Um, I think I've. Well, my memory's awful, you know, is at the best of times. It is not the most wonderful of things. Um, so, yeah, it is quite possible I've said on one of the streams because I've had someone up here called Dan from a channel called Arius in the Nation. Shout out to Dan from Arius in the Nation and Spencer, both lovely guys. Um, if you're from England and you like the reaction scene, please go check them out. Spencer was over here not that long ago. I did get a chance to meet up with him when he was in Manchester. I didn't think about putting them side by side like that. Yeah. Them and those. Very nice, along with those claws. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the big bear, and I shouldn't be. It also comes with a shield, which is tempting because that's nice. I like that. Which is the two guns. Drain holes for weight purposes because of my stupid scaling and how much it would have weighed had he not done that. I'm well aware of what 3D printing and how to do it, so yeah, very smart move because yeah, the weighting on this would have been ridiculous. I'm going to have to do something. I've got another idea for this rather than it going on the bear. So the bear may end up getting that as a more replacement in that section, which may reduce some of the bulk. And yeah, because I want it to be part of stone dragons, I can paint them then as more dragon teeth rather than. And I could hopefully fit an Aquila on there if I've got one spare in the bits box, and then that will rule. So, future ideas on that. However, that all needs to go back into box, so it could be undercoated and base coated and become future work projects. Because it was much bigger than I thought it was, and it's done nothing but bloody rain most of the time. So being able to airbrush without everybody in the house breathing in paint is not easy to do. I can't set up an extractor on this thing and have it. Well, I could, but it'll be ridiculous. So yeah, that goes away for now. Tonight, however, yes, one of you lovely people, please reach out to me and tell me who you are. Discord link is on the channel somewhere, I believe. I'm sure if I stop being an absolute idiot, I could probably drop the link to it. But I'm a complete idiot. However, I've got the page open to Rose Den Hobbies. Yes, you bought me a lovely model. Back to live stream. There we go. And I've already base coated it because that's my idea to paint it tonight. And I believe the reason you've chose this model is because of Dan, who I mentioned earlier from Arius in the Nation. And Dan is American, and his home state is Maryland. And it went from my head a moment, but yeah. And Maryland's got a state sport, which just happens to be jousting, which is why I think you've chose this one. Which I think I mentioned if you bought it for me, I would paint it for him in the Maryland colours and send it to him. Now, receiving said model, challenge accepted. If that is the idea of this. However, if it is not and you have bought it for other reasons, please, and just for the pleasure of me painting to go, here, add this to your collection, it's something you've not got, then let me know. However, I'm going to roughly look. I'm going to have to show you the Maryland bloody flag. Jesus Christ. Yes, I am an idiot. In fact, Captain Copper, I need to start up something. I need some sane fucker up here because I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, go there. That'll do. Dink dink. Thank you very much for even putting your lovely, lovely face into chat, Captain. Thank you so much. I need somebody who's sane in this world. Now, I'm going to go look for the Maryland flag to show you, and for some reason. Okay, that'll do. Share screen. That one. Okay. This is the Maryland state flag. And this is a man on horseback with armor, and so the horse has armor, and the horse has some fabric, and he has a shield, and he has a helmet. And one is quite easy to do because one is on fabric. The other, to paint it like that, in certain places on this model is quite difficult. However, because of there is actually segments on the plating that are quite nicely laid out down here. So alternating, I should be able to do the black and yellow down the back. Remove that from there. So I should be able to do the black and yellow down the back, which will cover the back armor. But it's going to require a lot of practice at freehand. It's going to. I'm not going to lie. But I could do it in singular plates down the back. We do have a fleur-de-lis on the shield. Now, in a perfect world, I'd be able to do Mona Lisa style freehand on a rice head. In a perfect world. However, this is not a perfect world, is it? Let's fucking face it. It's not a perfect world. So, rather than completely sanding away the fleur-de-lis, ruining the model completely, because I have flattened it a little, so it's not quite as predominant. So I am going to have to kind of put some effort in when I paint. I'm not going to be able to slap chop the shield. I am going to have to actually do something. It is a beautiful model, isn't it? Twisted. So I want to know who sent it though, which is why at the moment it is only white. It is only white because it is resin. I do have to say There is a slight issue with resin. Is it is slightly more fragile than it's more fragile than plastic, slightly more. And at the joint at the back here of the actual lance, I it was this section of my hand, and it must have been the air passing by, but it took the lance and caught it there. So I have reattached it since, and I see it's gone on cleanly. So very nice print. Literally only the most delicate of joints could have gone, and it managed to survive a train journey. Just not a brush within a millimeter or of me before fucking going live. At least if it had gone live, I could have. Never mind. But it is a beautiful model. How to do his armor and the shield. Obviously, that's where the the red and white comes in. So black and yellow for the horse's armor, which I can do checkered for the back, hopefully, and do it in the alternate way of that bloody thing that's hurting my eyes just even looking at. Jesus, what is it? That's not how you do flags. Somebody tell them to stop. And do you want to know the annoying thing is? They used to have some lovely bleeding flags as well. But I'm not going into a history of Maryland. It's just one idea to do from that. I do have to fully finish priming him as well. So I'm not touching him at the moment. He does also need a base. Now he did come with a base, which I primed him on, so I've got a rough idea of his footprint as well. You see, I do think sometimes. I'm not completely bloody stupid, which came also from Rose Den Hobbies, as I said down here. Which that model you will get it like that if you order it. For scale wise, it stands about the same size as the tiniest, smallest dreadnought, a little bit taller, and will stand a little bit taller once base is done. Base is about the same, about the same size. So a box is easier to measure than a and it's a rule that I've got in my hand. So what? Because I'm never quite on point. But 2.5 inches tall? That's so about 2.5 to 2 2 3/4 inches tall. Very nice model. But I want to do that model justice. Which is going to require dry brushes, which I don't get until tomorrow. Good evening. Good. See you later, Twisted. Get your shit sorted. Go get your handyman. Good evening, Kirsty. Hello. How are you? Yes. So to paint that in yellows, I don't actually know how many yellows I've got. So, right, add that to screen. Put that in the middle. So, ta-da, look at that. If you want to see what I'm going to be painting over the next while. And I can't remember where I put the paint box, which is not a good idea. Oh, well, I can remember where I put the paint box, but for some reason, some things moved. My mother-in-law did look after the children while we were away, so there's a possibility. Yeah, she's moved a couple of things, so there they are. Because she's moved a couple of things, I also have my keyboard on the floor again. I finally managed to get it so I can have it there next to me. And all in one weekend. I did manage to get a woolly hat as well while I was away. Sat down here. Right, so yellows. Yes, yellows. Now I could go extravagant and go golds and silvers, or do it as metallics at least for the horse, and possibly carry it through as a motif in its entirety for all the armor. I could actually do the where would I do the red and white? Well, I could do the red and white over the fleur de lis, do the fleur de lis red over a white, or do it red and white in the middle, which I really don't want to. Well, I say I don't want to do. I've only got one white, as far as I'm aware. I've only got it recently, which is a Games Workshop white. So I'm not entirely sure because I would have to put it into a proper container and then agitate it properly because white is a very, very pigment heavy paint. I do have obviously various bone ivories, but I don't think they're going to be bright enough to do that. And I've got reds, so I could do the white. I do have the base white, which is quite sufficient as a bright white, as I've brought it up to in some cases just to test it if it's going to be sufficient. I do have to sort out some of the undercoating on it, but still, I'm going to have to put yellow on this. The only actual yellow I've got is, I believe, Zealot. Dumbass, I've still got the paint. No, but yeah, the army paint, speed paint, Zealot yellow, which is the 1.0 one. Now I've got enough of that to continue to be able to do Tyranids as I expand, which is great because that's what I need. But in this case, now here's a weird quirk. If I were to, because of the reactivation of the 1.0, which is why a lot of people don't like the 1.0. No, I understand why they don't like it, but it has its bloody uses. I don't care. Stop you. And if you want to do it down in the comment section down there, I'll quite happily heart it. Call you a fucking idiot. But yes, the 1.0 has its advantages, which is what I intend to take advantage of when I'm doing the bear that I was showing earlier, because I intend to be using said yellow and orange. And where is it? Damn it! There's two of them. You got me. And red to possibly do some of the bear. I see. I've got ideas, but I might change my mind and go for browns. Yeah, I don't know, because I do have some browns. But yeah, that's the only yellow I've got. The closest other one I've got is the Balor brown, which, if I take that down again, although is quite a yellowy brown, unless I'm going for full realism. I'm gonna. Do I have any other yellows? Or do I go down the route of golds? Right, I need to run tests. I don't want to fuck this model up. One of you has bought this for me, and whether you've bought this for me to do something myself with and whatever I wish, or to pass on to someone else, as I've said I would do on a past stream. I think I did actually mention this, so I'm gonna think ahead and think that this is getting passed on possibly to Dan, because I think I did mention that on a stream to him. And Dan may will at least get a kick. His son will at least get a kick out of it, I think, if we can do it well enough. So there's the other thing. It is. Red and white armour on the black and yellow steed. Hey up, Graham. Howdy, lad. Yeah. I'm now thinking about colours for this thing. I say this thing, this beautiful, wonderful model. That to do justice, I've got to think long and hard about proper colour choices and base choices. And as I like to keep, as I say, everything I do regarding this stuff to the bare minimum is done here, so you can all help me and keep me focused on what I'm doing, and we can all go through and yeah. I don't need greens. I don't need purples. I do need one gold, which I've probably got on a tray somewhere, but fuck it, who cares? This is a new model. I might open other new paints. Who knows? Any other gold? No worries. That's where I got them from. Well, that's where I ordered my model from. I've pointed out the mistake. Seeing as you're here, yeah. Would you like to come up and see the comparison? Just quickly, or would you like me to just show you? I will move some of this out of the way so we can at least sit there. And go back and look at the yellow paint, which I only think, well, gold paints actually, that's all I'm looking for. Well, look, I know I've got, pardon me. Right, I know I've got more than 2 gold paints. I do need to get that Corax white out though. Even though it is white, it's still not white. It may show up on paper. You need to test these things. It might not be the same white as that white. Who knows? I don't need to think about washes yet. Thank fuck. But I will need to think about other things. I will need reds as well. And where are my reds? I don't really. Oh, there it is. Right, is that the right red? It could be. It depends on. Oh, fuck. Right, so both of those things might be quite. Um, that's a nice model, and how I've got 4 colours to represent, and how I represent them is obviously interpreted by me. So I don't necessarily have to do things the exact same. So I could have gold, silvers, blacks, yellows, reds, whites. Brighter silvers if I wanted to do an older version of white and almost do it. I never used metallics under speed paint, so I guess Yeah, it's essentially. I understand. Yeah. Yes. However, as it's also a chance to push and challenge myself. That's the extra yellow that I wanted to make sure I could get hold of before I started messing about with the speed paint. As with the extra, there's one blood red. There's one from the that I don't need a purple. I will need a black at some point, and I know I've got others somewhere, but there is one. So there's a start at least on my base four colours with potential proxies that I can find elsewhere. Yeah, move that base out of the way. So, there's before colours. While Graham is here, and thank you very much, Graham, for coming, I will show you the. Right. That's the old boxy dreadnought, yeah? That's the new Redemptor dreadnought. Okay? Notice how I'm putting the little boxy one down. New Redemptor dreadnought. Here's that wonderful, wonderful bear that your company wonderfully produced for me. And let's just say, if they're standing on the same base, the bear would quite happily carry that thing on its back as it stomped its way through whatever was coming near it. Obviously, that's what it looks like with no arms. You're aware of what it looks like with arms, I believe, but just for the sake of doing it again, because it's so. It's like having a new toy, almost. But yeah, for some strange reason, you've got to put it together and paint it yourself. It's an odd toy. Yeah, once you actually put its arms on, then it becomes a very, very monstrous. Yeah. I'll cover more about the rules that I intend this model to proxy for me, and it will do so with ease. But yeah, that nice monster is supposed to be the same size as that nice monster. Oh yes, I'm back on him. Well, just so you can show anyone and confirmation that I'm no good at scaling. I can't scale. If you're any companies out there and you wish to, yeah, I'm useless at scaling. Don't hire me. If you wish to see scaled models and buy scaled models, go there instead. I can't do it. No, I can paint them, but no, if you want models, go buy them from that person. They do good models. They do models like this when they get the scale right. You see the difference? They also get the scale right for that one if you actually buy it off them properly, and it'll actually come a little smaller. I think it'll still stand a little bigger than the Redemptor Dreadnought, as if you're looking for a size wise, but it'll stand more in the in total 5 inches, including the tips of the guns and all round frame. And once you put it on a base and everything, it'll stand. Yeah, about in if you've given it a big base and a big display piece, which to be quite honest, if you're buying something like that, then it deserves a nice, almost ruined. Oh, damn it! Stop making me talk about that while I've got this in my hand and making me getting me excited. But yeah, you're gonna put effort into the what it's stood on rather than just leaving it like that. It's not because it's not balanced. You will have to put it on the base, which I've managed to acquire. But wow, it needs a big one. But back to him. So I can proxy 3 of the colours, possibly. No, 2 of the colours, possibly 3 if one of the golds turn out to be ready enough. I don't think I've got a copper. There's the open gold. And there is also the ivory. Which one? I'm going to need a very small brush to do some of this. And this is definitely going to have to be done in stages. Then there's the horse itself, isn't there? And that's kind of going to do. I like to take, so yeah, help me. Yeah, you see, told you, he is a freaking beast. He's going to take a lot more work than, yeah. Don't get me back on this. Yeah, is right. So I need to. I don't want to put brush to model just because I don't want to fuck it up and have to scrape it all back and damage the model. So I don't get models this. Well, I don't get models this nice like this. I don't. So what's that got written on it? Rough order of after Space Music 2. We've already gone over that, haven't we? Graham, have we already gone through the order of Combat Patrol and what Rough Order is going through till the end? I can't remember. We've gone through that. Let me know, because I want to know if we can use that as something to put paint on so I can test colours and shit. If you wouldn't mind. Or Ali, or anyone. You don't think so? Right. So before I completely ruin this piece of paper, and there it is, for anyone who can read my handwriting, I'll read it for you roughly if I can. So if you get in the Combat Patrol magazine in a minute from Hachette Artworks in the UK, it starts with the Space Marines and Tyranids as the 2 starting Combat Patrols, and you get a Parasite of Mortrex and a Chaplain on a bike with the Space Marine tag. And then they're going to go into the Eldari, which you get what is now the old Combat Patrol-ish, as well as some Wraith Guard, as well as the Chaos Combat Patrol with Hellbrute, I think, roughly. I think that works out as what it is. It's on the big poster if you've got that. It's on the back of that, and they give it, and it's shown on them all. If you can see, work out what it is. So basically, it's Eldari and Chaos after Space Marines and Tyranids. It's the old Combat Patrol and Snazwagon with the Orcs and the Legion of Votan with some Hearth Guard after those 2. Then it's going to be Gene Stealer Cults and Astral Militarum after those 2, and finishing up with World Eaters as the last one. And that's a rough order. That's going around all little bits poking around on the internet, because obviously I'm covering it. I'm therefore looking at things. Now I'm going to flip it over and completely ruin all the writing with some paint, which is what is the point of this thing. I'm not completely settled for it, and I'm not going to use my best brushes to do it. Let's just say that, because I'm only painting on paper. I don't really need to. I'm probably going to set up a wet palette, to be quite honest. However, I may need a small palette or something to use as a palette. I have a stack of 3, and I have the first one I see is the one that I let the kids use. It will do. It will suffice. I only need small drops. So these are the colours I need to represent. What? I don't know what's just gone on with my light, but it's gone all dark and moody. Especially on my light. I don't know. On my desk, I don't know what it is. Quite happy getting the Eldari, even though they just got a resculpt. But the Wraith Guard are going to be nice. Well, I'm thinking about that and which one's going to go on first. So I need to test my brightest yellow because that's the one that I need. It's because I only have one actual yellow, and that is quite a bright yellow. How will the contrast fare up against the brown as a comparison to that? The red, the white, and the black, pretty easy to do. The yellow is the one that I'm going to struggle with most. So let's see what I can actually do. Because if I've only got a speed paint yellow, then that's really going to limit how I can apply said yellow. So where's that? White. Correct, white. See, that's more grey to me. Or is that just my eyes? And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the basics of layering with speed paints. If I was to use a different paint underneath and then apply the speed paint, the speed paint would apply differently. But I'm looking to get that yellow. So, can I do that? Oh, I can. Awesome. Right. Wait for that to dry. While I wait for that to dry, put some Bala Brown down. Because that's the closest other one I have for a yellow, and that's got to be approximate if I use it. It may actually turn out to be the right choice if I'm able to put a tiny bit down at the end over there, just to see if they go over. Right. And hopefully that's not going to take forever and a fucking day to dry. I should have gone. See, this kind of would have been able to get them while I was in York. This is when you should have told me this shit, dude. This is when you need to tell me this stuff. I'm thick as fuck. Yep. I can talk forever, but I'm stupid. Really, when it comes to most things. I forget when to pick up like minor shit. I forget good ideas and chances for stuff. Like, for instance, little shops in Europe that might sell paints that would be very, very handy right now. So at least you could have done things you wouldn't tell me who actually sent it. And I've had no confirmation from anybody who sent it, then no. I do need to post a picture in Discord though. Went to him while we was in York. We just happened to be near essentially where we were staying. It was a very, very lovely little cottage, an old cottage with not functioning, but it had a water wheel on it. I don't think anyone stayed in the cottage. I think it was more there for just heritage reasons. Let's try red because I've got. Whoa! Shit! You forgot. That's why we do it when it had lots of area to go away, so it didn't splash all over paper. You don't want to. Yeah. Saved ourselves a little bit there. No, the red needs to go with the. The red needs to go with the white. But I also need to do the red over the white. I also need to do the yellow over the white. Well, the grey anyway. Yellows are a very, very difficult ones. So going off paper, which is not exactly the same. What I could do with giving that a better prime. I do need to clean some of it up and do some of it a lot better. Really. No, I've just done that one. It was the other red and white. Which it also needs to compare against the white. Or at least. I suppose that's one way to get it on there. See how well I can draw it out. See, that is very. No. I'm not happy. While I'm having to sit here doing this little twiddling and twaddling and just putting colours down. In case you're wondering what's going through my head, which you probably bloody are. Or you're not. Maybe, I don't know. It's the contrasts and how the different colours will react to each other. Which is what I'm looking at the moment. And obviously looking at the flag that I'm going to have to use and knowing that I've got a limited palette, I'm going to have to either see if I'm happy with limited colour palette and because of that be forced down a particular pattern of painting and a particular style, which, don't get me wrong, I have used to good effect, especially with the paints that I would need to do. There are also other ways that I would prefer to be able to do things. Certainly in the case of fleur-de-lis on the back and the shield, because I want that to at least be red and white. And he does have a little. Oh, once I've finished fucking around with colours, which I should do black and brush instead of letting it dry and hit on the paint. The little shield we'll have to talk about in a minute as well. But right, so the red has to go with, and the yellow has to go with black. Black. What are we having for tea tonight, Martha? Pins. I mean, changes the entire context of that line if you say it like that. But if you're a fan of the past show, you will actually recognise what it is. Believe it or not, that's said in a comedy show. Just said in a slightly different way because it's quite off my mouth. But yeah, if you like the past show, you'll recognise. Or if you've seen certain episodes as much as I have. Let's at least put it that way. I also need to. I see. I also need to look at how steady my hand is. This is also a good test of. Do I need magnifiers for doing this one? Just so I do better prep. I mean, I'm even resting one arm on the other just to help try and steady my hand. For some reason, I'm shaking that buggery. I'm not sure why. Paper. Right. So we've got a small section of yellows. With proxy to blacks. And we have both reds next to pure white and the proxy grey, as well as the yellow over the grey and the red over the grey. We have the Bala Brown just down there on its own, rocking some stuff out. We also have some that's the yellow over the grey. So yellow on its own, yellow over the grey, and the Bala Brown on its own, but the Bala Brown with black down here. The brown I'm actually looking at on its own because of the horse. See, I could do a brown horse. I believe I may be coming into some actual dry brushes soon, so more of a stippling effect might actually work. Good night, Graham. Thank you very much for coming and joining us. Yes, and providing the models as well. Not telling me who sent it. So I've got a lot of things to talk about in a minute. But looking at that, my reds are pushing me, and yellows, should I say, my yellows particularly, are pushing me down a slap chop route, simply because the Bala Brown is not good enough. It's not yellow enough. Well, it shouldn't be. It's a fucking brown cover, for Christ's sakes. So that's not going to work. And none of my lighting for some reason. I don't understand why. It's just maybe that's a good thing. Who knows? So that's not good. Bugger. Right. Next thing is do a cheat. Because if I do the horse's if I do the horse's armor black and yellow, I could just mask off everything I don't want. That isn't the horse's armor. That's going to be the black and yellow. Spray it with the zealot yellow, and then paint over it then after with standard black. That is an option, and I would get a nice even. I would get the nice even coverage up. No, but see, this is why I don't. Because if I have it in certain positions, it blocks certain things. This, yeah. Steve always says he's in shot. Luckily, the camera has a mind of its own at the moment. It's flew off my desk the other day. Now to get the most out of, so those two are the better paints by far. Now they are designed to be done and used in the way that the Tyranids are kind of done. There is an issue doing that with precise lines. It's a big issue doing that with precise lines, especially when you can see certain precise lines on the model, which is why I've slightly lowered the depth of that shield there, because of the lines in the armor and the plating along the horse's neck, which you can only just make out. So I'm going to have to do something on there. Some people have been calling me a madman. They've been right. It's just so I hope this. I'm only doing this because it's very light black. I can paint over it ridiculously easily. I'm just trying to bring out some lines that I can see, and because of the flat whiteness of the spray, I don't think you can see on the camera. I don't even know if that's going to pick it up or not, or what. I might need to do other things. Just to try and... Yeah, that's not helping. But there are lines down. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay, right. So there are actually lines. There we go. Just about make them out down the actual armor here. And they are down both sides. So I could do them as a black and yellow checkered pattern. How easy is that? Fucking difficult as shit. But not as difficult as trying to hand paint one of those bloody crosses. Jesus, have you seen that cross? Saying that, I do have some transfer paper. It would be a huge fucking waste. I could print out a little transfer, put it on there. But that'd be a ridiculous waste to have to find another reason to print transfers. I'm sure I can find a reason. Don't worry. I might end up just printing out the flag thing and possibly doing it over the back of it. I won't. But it might be nice for his cloak. It would be an easy way of doing it over. His cloak, I'm just going to do straight red. His armor, I'm going to go for bright silver with red accents, I've figured. And I'm going to possibly orange from the center and then feather out to red for his helmet. But I won't go too bright. I won't do too harsh of a contrast in the color change. I'll probably start out with the Wild Rider and then work back out to something like the, if I can, with his helmet. But if I can get at least the obscure black and yellow checkered pattern along the back of the horse, I'll be happy with that. And then I can just do the actual layers of the armor. Then figure out which one I would prefer as the back end colour, whether I want the white or the black, and work it out alternately. The problem is them lines are stupidly small, so I'm going to have to spray it unless I had. How good is that gold compared to? Obviously, I've got to think of this as a 3D model as opposed to on the paper. I'm not stressed. No, it's not so much stress. It's not stressing, Ali. It's I enjoy being challenged, which is so. I'm just rather than just rush through this. I'm slowing it all down and taking my time and enjoying the hobby. In doing that, I'm also doing it on YouTube, which is part of one of the things that my therapist didn't say it on YouTube. What he said is I should take time to sit down to do my hobby and enjoy my hobby, which is what I started out doing. So what I'm doing is you're seeing what my brain is able to commute from my head to my mouth while I am thinking, doing my hobby, which is why it leads to all sorts of stuff coming out of my mouth. Because if I'm not concentrating on my hobby, then what can I do sat here? So my head goes wandering. Put me on a camera and tell you what I'm thinking is or what's going on in my head, and or give me a brief to work to, and I can work to it, which is quite easy. So in this case, it's painting. So I understand that I have to be back to painting. The gold's going to need a couple of layers, but it is nice. But it's very bright. How will it stand up against? It doesn't cover the black easily. And no, Graham, even though I know you're not watching, if you come back, I'm not gilding it. That is just a silly idea. Even for custos, that would be a daft idea. And what about the other gold? Or is it going to run into the same problem as the brown? So both very shiny, which doesn't help under fucking bright light. Especially when you've not got good enough knowledge to actually run a good setup. Good evening, Dream Big, Build Small. I hope you are doing well this evening. I'm currently just throwing what my colours available that I've got together so I can work on a new project that somebody's decided to send me. Um, so coming back to it, golds work. I actually quite like the idea of the golds. Especially if, right, it's going back to this again. So on here, essentially, there is a large panel section here, then a row in the middle down there, and then another row down there. So there's 3 rows in total, which is the same as the black and yellows on that. Obvious. I can't even talk. Yes, I have. I have Dream Big. Oh crap! Damn it! My thumb caught it again. I may have to do something to actually make sure that stays supported a bit better. I'm sorry, whoever bought me this, but this is one of the problems of working with resin. Um, but I will get it set before I actually put paint to model. And that is the point, Dream. I'm not actually putting any paint on it yet because a while ago I did say I'll paint it. If someone sent me one of this and they let me know, I don't know if I said let me know, but if someone bought me something like this and they wanted me to paint it up in specific colours for a friend of the channel, then in their state colours, then and send it to them, I would. So I'm trying to work out how I'm going to do it with the limited colour palette, not wanting to put brush and paint on it just yet and do it disjustice. Just throwing stuff down on a piece of paper, so I'm not overly bothered on a wet palette at the moment. So, but I do have one. Thank you. Wet palettes are good. I've got to admit they are good. They work. They do exactly what they say they do, and it's great. But when I'm only throwing a little bit of colour down, I'm not too bothered because I'm not using my ones. Unless the paint goes splodging everywhere because you didn't realise it was dried at the top and it just goes. And in which case, not having it on the wet palette is sometimes a good thing because it's caught in a little well this time. Lucky me, because if I'd have done that when I come to painting it, and then I would have ended up crap loads all over the place, which would have been my luck. It would. So whichever colour I choose, essentially will work out. I can't slap chop because of the very fine detail. So I'm going to have to paint. I can't paint as... So to paint black bits black first and work. I'm going to have to paint it from bottom up to work out which is what's going to be the crowning colour. Because that's going to be the one that has to stand out. Because that's the one that's got a nose piece. I didn't even realise. So I'm going to have to do it gold. Gold's going to have to be the first crowning colour. Or yellow. No, gold. Looking at the model itself. Now looking at it, it has actually got a complete head armour. I mean, I didn't even know I was getting this model. So again, thank you to whoever sent it to me. So I'm getting to actually have a real up close look at the model. And, this model. Whoever bought it, we bought it from Rose Den Hobbies. If you want, I've me being an ape doesn't help, but it is very nice. I've already been going for an hour and 20 minutes somehow. So, right, final decisions. So, because I am going to paint it that way, I'm going to use the gold. And obviously, the black has to be in there because it's the only black I have. For the red, I do. For the red, I'm going to have to work up through the two Wild Rider, and uh, yeah, working up through the Wild Rider would be the easier option. I would like to have used the yellow speed paint, but I can't do it to this model. It's too fragile. However, more robust models, definitely. I wouldn't even do it on some of GW's models, to be quite honest. With that dry brushing technique, not a chance. If you've got any of the resin range, or especially Finecast was awful, and that would just be ridiculous. That's worse than it just falls apart in your hands. Well, what I could do with the four, see the symbol in the two red and white corners. Just one of them, I'm thinking, is enough. If I can get the checkered pattern, right. Make me big because I'm the one talking. And focus. Okay, yeah, right. So if I can get the black and white, if I can get the black and yellow, or black and gold in this instance, checker pattern thing, that just screws with my eyes to start with. If I can get that right down the back of the actual thing there, and then because of the starting colour is going to be gold there, so I'm going to do gold here as well. I want because it's having gold, I want gold to be the and then gold, black, gold, then gold, black, going down. Seeing as it's going to be black there, I'll see what ends up as the bottom colour for how I'm going to work from the gold down, because that will follow a pattern. I'm just essentially an alternating pattern going. Yeah, so it's gold in the first triangle. It's going to be black, gold, black. I need something small and pointy. So I want to do it. So it's no, it's got glue in it. Don't fucking use that one, you dickhead. I thought that was the empty one. Right. So get it in some shadow. So we can go down. Right. So the top, which has got going to go down into the headpiece, is going to be gold. Then the first triangle coming in from here, because it does go down in triangles. So gold, black, gold, black, gold, black, gold. So it's going to end up as gold at the bottom. Black with gold trim would be nice for additional livery. What might be nice is alternating the red and white. How will that look against the black? See, I can get red would look quite nice if I go dark enough red. I'm holding it well. So yeah, it'll be gold on top, and it'll be finished gold, black, gold on the bottom row in the checker pattern along the back spine of the horse. So down here. Right. And as I said, I'm now going to. That's going to be red shield, white fleur de lis with white trim. If I can do it, I've got to stop knocking that, and I've got to set that into place. Black lance, gold inlays, I think. And it's going to have to be a brown horse because of the amount of white and black on it. So many ideas. So many ideas. Good night, Ali. I hope you sleep tight. Thank you so much for watching and so much for coming to watch. I've got so many ideas to have with this. However, even though I've only done a little bit of brushwork, I mean a tiny bit, at least I'm learning colour stuff. I'm learning about colour stuff before I go and make a screwy up model, because now I have to repair the bloody lance before I carry on. So, yeah, I need to repair stuff, and I don't want to put paint on that model yet. I've not finished priming it, and I need the airbrush for that, which is all the way set up. So, thank you everybody for coming to join me this evening, and I will be working on both the knight that one of you lovely people has bought for me. Please, as I said again, there is a Discord down below. If you wish to join and contact me and tell me who you are and tell me what you would like from this. So this is a complete surprise to me. I'm looking forward to painting it, but I have so many ideas in my head, and I would like to confirm everyone else's what your plans were. With you obviously being a fan of the channel to donate such a thing, I'm guessing it is going to end up being the gold, black, red, and possibly silver rather than gold, which I do have to, rather than white, should I say, which I do have to check out actually. Before we start, I forgot, I've got to check out one or two things. Which is rather important actually. Some of the other colours against the fucking red. So that will stand out as a dark silver. Easy enough. We already know what Blood Belcher is. So we just need to work out what we're going to use as an alternate white to the pure white, because we don't have a pure white. So that's using the Corax white from Games Workshop. We also have a Ivory Tusk from Tooth and Coats, as well as War Paints from Army Painter Spiky Bones. There's pretty much, and oh no, I do have another. I have Wraithbone from Citadel as well. All alternative whites are off whites because you never actually use white's never the actual colour you want. There's always a there version because light's a fucking knob. Light's a pain, man. I don't mean life, I mean light. It lies to us and tells us things look like something, and then you change the quality of the light, and then the type of the light, and all of a sudden it's not what it says it was anymore. It's they never tell you this when they get you into the hobby. Like, painting is hard, man. What do you mean, man? You just brushing in and painting. No, painting's hard. No, it's not. Like, look at this. And then you show them some golden demon now, some even better than that. In quite a few cases, I've seen some lovely like busts, and oh god, and some people just using alternate models. And obviously, in the modeling world, there's also scale modeling as well, which is also in its some of the detail that goes into that work is unbelievable. But yeah, right. So that's that. That's that. And I need some of this stuff. So I've already put some Corex white down there, which I say looks grey as it is. I have zero. So we've got the two thin coats from Duncan. I knew there was something else. These two are quite similar. Now that was the Citadel because I have to get out my brush. Right. So yeah, sorry for being quiet there for a moment, but finishing on the final deciders for the whites because I didn't like that grey. That is apparently Corax white, but yeah, as I said, it was more grey as opposed to what I've used to base coat the actual model with. So I'm looking at alternative whites because I don't actually have anything other than what I'm using for the base coat, which is usable, but it is still the primer, so it is thinned down for an airbrush. Rather, the same problem I have with the speed paint. Any of the ivories would I think would actually work out better, but I'm going down the lines of the silvers. I'm thinking I'm preferring the silver method. So if I'm going to have to lead belcher. I'm going to have to lead belcher the fleur de lis. There we are. I knew I'd get there eventually. I'm going to have to lead belcher the fleur de lis and the actual edging and have the insides red. Doing it first, right. Problem is I only have 2 hours to do these streams, so I'm only about 30 minutes, so I'm not going to start it now. I'm just going to make it set in concrete how I'll be painting it in the future. So because I'm using the Maryland flag as where is it? There it is. Yeah, the Maryland flag as an idea, well, as an inspiration, should I say? It's going to be the weird black and yellowy thing just to get the flag reference in there. I'm going to try and get on the little panel here. I'm going to try and at least do one of the odd red and white flip little things because let's be honest, I don't think I'm good enough to paint a full one of those red and white corners. So actually paint the full cross on that. How big is it? Oh, I dropped the brush off the wrong way. I know it's just a thing, but still. That is a let's be generous. Let's call it a half a centimetre tall at its longest top point. So I'll at least try for one. If I'm feeling brave, I may get the magnifying glasses back out, and let's see what I can do with the mechanical pencil first, shall we? We'll see. We'll try that method first. Um, that's not a bad idea for getting the silver on the silvery black on some. Anyway, high silver and high metallic for his armor, black and gold for the lance, layered just standard, starting with gold for the armor. I'm going to end up doing the fabric red. I'm liking the idea of doing the fabric red, especially if I'm doing the armor bright silver. So I'm still doing the red and white motif rather than just flipping it out there. Although, see, this is the problem of getting a model you wasn't expecting. Then what do I do with the cloak? I could do the cloak red, but that might overdo with the amount of red that's on there. And although on this side it might be balanced, having the red cloak and the silver armor, topping off with. In fact, I might do that gold rather than red now. But that side I think will be a wash with red, with only a tiny bit of white or silver. I'm edging towards white because it is a shield. It's kind of making me want to do the horse. From this angle, I want to do the horse whites. From this angle, I want to do the horse brown. This is confusing as hell. Fuck's sake. Anyway, I'm running out of time. I will not be putting paint to model tonight, but I have had a very thorough look through if anyone wishes to have a quick look at the gold, yellow, red, and how I test colours. Look into my mind, people. Do therapy on YouTube. Very good idea. No, but do it with other people, especially your hobby. Again, just has it been ruined? No, it's not. So you'll be collecting the Combat Patrol magazine. Catch a quick glance. That's what's coming in a rough order. And thank you very much for joining me, everybody, this evening, and whoever sent me this model. Again, thank you for coming, for sending it and giving it to me. I will make sure you know when I'm painting it because it will become its own thing. It'll give me something to paint instead of the cats, won't it? I can paint it in little bits instead of the cats. That's an excellent idea. Thank you very much. But until I start painting it up, then thank you for everybody for joining me. That's not a bad idea, but they do only have a limited range of colours. But thank you for coming in there at the end. You're just what? Monstrous. Thank you. Oh, I'm just monstrous. Thanks for joining in at the end. But yes, I will do that instead of the cats in future, so look out for the next live streams. Thank you all for joining me, and don't forget to drive safe.